Hello everybody, this is Don Counts and we are at the Warrior Exhibit in Fayetteville, Tennessee, and Linda Williams is here and tell us who we have today.
Don, today we have Mr. Harold Mitchell, and he served 23 years in the Army National Guard, and we are thrilled to have him and learn about him and his experiences today.
All right, tell us a bit about yourself and where you're from and what led you into the military.
I'm originally from Athens, Alabama, and we moved to Tennessee a few years ago when I remarried a local lady, and she had me move back to Tennessee. I joined the 20th Special Forces National Guard in 1970. Already gone to a couple of recruiters and talked to them, trying to get in, and I don't know why, but they just act like they didn't want to talk to me too much. Wouldn't guarantee me anything, any schools or anything, and I was wanting to go to jump school. So I put it off for a little bit, and I ran into a friend of mine at work. A produce manager came in uniform one Saturday afternoon, and I asked him where he got that uniform, and he told me he was in the 20th Special Forces over on Dallas Street in Huntsville, Alabama. So I went that afternoon and signed up. Not only did they guarantee me the school, I had to guarantee them that I would go to school. And wound up serving several years with them. I took a short leave of absence and got back in, same unit, served my whole time with the same unit. Retired as a master sergeant in '96. However, I do have some records saying 2010.
Tell us a bit about what you did while you were in there.
Well, I started off, I was in headquarters company in Huntsville, Alabama, and they didn't have a team available, and I was in the mess hall for a while, and became mess sergeant for several years, and then a team opened up, and they grabbed me and put me in a team. 2018 over in Decatur, Alabama.
Now, when you say team, what do you mean by that?
The Special Forces A team consists of 12 people.
Okay.
The captain, who is the commander of the team, a lieutenant who's an assistant, and he's also in charge of security. Then you got a couple of weapons people, demo people, communications people, medics, and that kind of stuff. About 12 people. I was light weapons leader for a while, and they finally decided to send me to heavy weapons school. And I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, to heavy weapons school, and became 11 Charlie MOS with an S on the end of it, Special Forces. And I was operations sergeant for about 9 years or 10 years on the A-team, on that same A-team. That's sort of like being the first sergeant of a company, except you're over a 12-man A-team.
Tell us about going back to basic training. Where'd you go to basic training, and how'd you get into what you were doing there, Special Forces?
I was lucky enough to go to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, basic and AIT, and it's a real nice part of the world.
Where is that?
I went through combat engineer school there, building bridges and that kind of stuff, Bailey bridges and pontoon bridges and all that kind of stuff, and working with explosives. And was a combat engineer, and so that was my first MOS. They told us one weekend if we give blood, we get a weekend pass, but I didn't get a weekend pass. They wouldn't let us leave.
Oh.
But luckily, they had a show going on post. It was the Gold Diggers. I don't know if you remember them or not. It's an all-women dance club that did USO clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to witness that before they quit. Then I went to Fort Benning, Georgia. I went straight through basic AIT and went to jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia. And Finished up in Fort Benning, Georgia, and went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Phase 1 at Special Forces training for a total of 51 weeks solid training.
Wow.
How many jumps did you make?
Well, I've got a little over 200 jumps with the military. I was jump master and an instructor in the military. I also got a recruiter badge while I was in the Special Forces. And I'd say I got a little over 200 jumps with the military, and I was also a civilian skydiver, so a total of over 5,000 jumps
Wow.
documented.
Tell me a little bit about jumping. How difficult is it the first time jumping out of an airplane?
Well, the first time's not too bad. The first 1 and 2 jumps are not bad at all, but the third jump, your body and your mind's telling you done been here, done that, and you're stretching your luck a little bit, you know. So your third jump's a little more tough, but if you can get through the 4th or 5th jump, you got it made.
Do you ever have any close calls?
No, sir. I have ridden a reserve out of the over 5,000 jumps. I've ridden a reserve emergency parachute for about 12 times.
So 12 times you had to use a reserve.
Yes, sir.
So your original one didn't.
Yes. Well, you have what they call a partial malfunction, or you have a total malfunction. A total malfunction doesn't come off your back. A partial malfunction, it comes off a little bit and slows you down a little bit, and you have more time to deal with it. That kind of stuff. And I was a jump master instructor, civilian also, and a tandem instructor. I took over 3,000 people tandem. So that's how I built up a lot of jumps. I worked for a living.
So you benefited from your training in the military in your civilian life.
Yes, ma'am, I did. But
What's some of the training consist of to learn to jump and jump safely?
yeah, in the military, they teach you how to land, how to exit the aircraft, and how to land, and how to control your parachute system. Jumping off of small platforms, jumping off of swing land trainers, and I forget what they call that thing. We jump out of a 34-foot tower and go down a trolley when you like exiting the aircraft, and you have to count 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4, check canopy and that kind of stuff. And they're watching you from the ground, make sure you're doing it correctly and all that kind of stuff. They teach you the swing land trainer, where you go off of about a 5-foot platform, and you're swinging on a rope, and then they drop you, and you have to land feet and knees together. 4 points of contact, they say, if you land correctly.
But now you said you jumped off of a tower to start with, not out of a plane.
Right, 34-foot tower.
Okay.
Right.
I might be able to handle that, but I don't know about that airplane.
You do a PLF, a parachute landing fall, when you hit the ground, so you hit all the meaty parts of your body and not any elbows and that kind of stuff, so you don't break anything. And that's where they teach you jumping off of small platforms, and then you progress on up a little higher, front, back, that kind of thing.
Now, how do you land? What do you land on when
You land on the ball of your feet, calf your leg, the thigh, and your buttocks, and your push-up muscle in the back.
Okay.
Everything's in the front. You hit and twist away from it, and present all the meaty parts of your body to the ground.
Did you pack your own parachute every time?
Not in the military. The military has parachute riggers that pack for you, and they'll take a parachute off of the shelf with their name on it, where they have to sign a card on the inside of it and tell them to jump that parachute. And they never know which chute they're going to have to grab, so they try to pack them all right, you know.
So you're pretty confident they're
But
packed right.
Right. But in civilian jumping, yes, we packed our parachute many times until we started doing it for a living. And then we had some people packing for us, and we would land, put our parachute down, grab another parachute, grab another student, and go get back on the plane. So they were packing for us.
where did you work out of in civilian life?
I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. I was a meat cutter for many years. Started off at GX. Well, started off in Ardmore at the LMS food market in the meat department. And when I graduated high school, I went to work for GX I went to work for Winn-Dixie Quick Check on Governor's Drive in Huntsville for about a year and a half. And then I went into the military. And when I got back, I sort of worked for myself for a little while, mobile home repair work, that kind of stuff. And then I got tired of waiting on a check. So I went to work for GEX in Huntsville. Well, I went to work in Decatur first at a place called Family Mart Food Store. Worked there about a year. And then went to work for GEX in Huntsville. And then I left there and went to work for General Motors and retired with General Motors while I did all this other stuff.
And you were doing all this,
Yes, ma'am.
the school for parachuting,
Right.
skydiving
Yeah,
at the same time.
right.
Ooh, you were busy.
Yes, ma'am. The more rank you have in the military, and the Guard especially, the more it becomes a full-time job. So
Would you recommend young people today to go in the Guard?
I would recommend them going to military. And every time we went somewhere, we jumped in and we were on foot for the duration of the problem. So, you know, they might consider going into Air Force or going into the Navy, and therefore they got transportation everywhere they go, you know, instead of on their foot. But I highly recommend it. It's good training. You learn a lot. You learn a lot of discipline from it.
So how many total years were you in?
Good years. I served 23 years with 23.
I got you.
Like I said, I took a leave of absence for about a year. So all my time was in the same unit.
In your parachuting, did you do a lot of free falling? Was it much free falling? Probably
Yeah.
none in the military, but then in military life, after military life, there was some.
Yeah, I did a lot of free fall parachuting.
How long do you free fall before you pull the parachute?
That depends on how high you go.
Oh well, yeah, for sure.
Some aircraft, the smaller aircraft only carry you like 8,000 feet, 10,000 feet maybe, if you're lucky. And the bigger aircraft carry on up to 14,000 feet above sea level. So you get more free fall time.
Yeah.
And regulations different, depends on your license ratings, depending on how high above the ground you're supposed to open the parachute.
Where around here do you do that kind of stuff, or you did?
They have several drop zones. They have one in Coleman, Alabama,
Okay.
Skydive, Alabama, and then they have Skydive, Tennessee over at Tullahoma. And then, of course, I've jumped quite a few other places. Over in Memphis is West Tennessee Skydiving Center. Or you can go online and look at jumpevis.com, and it's West Tennessee Skydiving Center. And you can look us up on the internet on YouTube and look up Skydive Alabama, and you can watch some of our videos.
Okay. How are they videoed as you make the jumps?
Usually, a free fall guy will jump with us, and he'll have a camera mounted on his helmet, and he'll have an eyepiece in front, and everything he looks at through that eyepiece, the camera looks at. So he gets a good video, and he opens up a lot lower than you do, so he gets on the ground and you land in front of him. So he gets a good aspect of the whole skydiving.
How much does it cost for someone to do a skydive like that?
Nowadays, it's gone up.
Sure.
It's probably $200 or $300 if you get the video and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
They kind of want you to do a tandem where you're strapped to an instructor, and that's the safest way to go.
Yeah.
And then you get video, and that's another probably $100, $125.
Oh, sure.
But
In the military, did they teach you to jump for a purpose, or what was the reason for jumping?
combat jumping, you jump full equipment, rucksack, strap between your legs, weapons strapped on your side, and that kind of stuff in combat. So they teach you, if you're airborne, you're going to jump in, you're supposed to be surrounded. You're jumping in the middle of them, you know.
Yeah.
So they teach you you're jumping in for combat reasons, and 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, you're jumping at night
Oh,
in the darkness hours.
what's the concept of jumping at night? How do you see where you're going.
It's a little different at night. Winds are different at night, and your vision's different at night. You have a tendency to want to flare the parachute a little early because your shadow's coming up at you.
Yeah.
But you gotta refrain from doing that. You gotta take it all the way in safely. Be prepared to land before you get to the ground. And if you're jumping with equipment, you lower your equipment below you, 15, 20 feet below you, so the weight of the equipment comes off your legs before your legs hit the ground, which it helps a lot.
How do you know what altitude you're at when you're in something like that?
In the military, you don't really know. You know about what altitude you're going out of the aircraft, and that's about it.
Yeah.
In free fall, you wear an altimeter that tells you above the ground. As you're falling toward the ground, the barometric pressure changes, your altitude changes, so it shows on that altimeter.
Okay, very good. Well, we thank you for your service. We thank you for telling your story, and proud you had so many jumps safely.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That's the only thing.
Got something else? You can tell you anything you want. Go ahead.
I thought of something a while ago. I was trying to think of what it was. I can't really. I guess that's all.
Well, we appreciate you telling your story, and we will wish you the best as you continuing to jump.
Thank you, sir.
You still jumping?
My last jump was 5 years ago when I turned 70. I jumped on my 70th birthday. I hadn't jumped in 7 years, and I made a jump on my 70th birthday.
You think you'll jump again?
And it was videoed, and my wife says I won't, but that's yet to be determined.
I got you.
I would go again tomorrow.
It sounds fun, but I don't know after getting up there looking out, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
You ever have people who can't do it after they get up there?
There has been a few people that backed out.
I can imagine. Well, we appreciate your service.
Thank you, sir.